Yep, water pump just went. Just now we were pulling it in here to store it, and the pulley has gone completely, it's gone. It burst, fluid came out, so we can no longer drive the car. Either the work's gonna have to be done here, or it's gonna have to be towed. I don't think we could start the car at all. We're gonna have to remove the belt, I think, in order to move the car. We could drive it without the water pump for a short time, but yeah, it's toast. Well, what's up, guys? My worst fears are realized. The Rolls is broken down. Water pump is just gone, obliterated. Pulley is off. So we're gonna tow it to a facility and get it fixed. So there's no water pump pulley or belt. So I'm gonna run the engine for just a minute with no engine accessories, but it won't hurt it because it's nice. Yeah, man, all the lights are on the dash. The computer is freaking out because the alternator's not working. There's no coolant. The computer is just going crazy because there's so many sensors on this car that tell you your oil pressure, your coolant temperature and level, your voltage output, all of those things. And without any of them running and just the engine running, the car is just going haywire. It's freaking out. So what we're going to do is we're going to get it up on this tow truck and we're going to take it to my buddy's place and we're going to get it all fixed. How far forward can I go? on the tow truck. Gonna take it over and get it fixed. Well, here's a sight you just never want to see. Never want to see your baby on the back of a tow truck. But I gotta say, it does look good, even on the back of a truck. I was driving this Cadillac CTS-V, and I'm like, what's wrong with this car? It's all like bouncy and loud. And then I realized, oh yeah, that's what a regular car is like. I've been driving that Rolls Royce around for the last month. It's like a magic carpet. It rides on marshmallows. I started driving this car again, and I'm like, what's all these bumps and all this noise I hear? Is this what you other people have to put up with when you're driving? How gauche. All right, well, here we go. We got the car at the shop, at my buddy's shop. This dude works on buses. That's his main gig. And he says he's gonna knock it out in like 3 hours. I can't believe it. So we're gonna leave the car here with our trusted mechanic. He's gonna rip out that water pump, replace it with the new one. And if all goes well, we'll be cruising this thing tonight.
Access to it. And that's it. We're just gonna take off the bolts right here. 1, 2, they're free. We just gotta get that hose right there.
Oh, yeah. So, nothing at all. So here's the replacement. So this is the actually goes, I think goes this way. Yeah, it goes this way. So this water pump, you know, if you look for the Rolls Royce part, who knows what price you're gonna get? But it's really a BMW 760 Li. Is that what it's called, a Li? Or just I?
Yeah, 760 Li.
Yeah, Li. So, you know, you can get this water pump for like 80 to 100 bucks. I got it at O'Reilly's, and this was a lifetime warranty. It was a little bit more expensive. Now, you also have to add the thermostat, which comes in a little housing, which I'll show you, which is right here. And it's about 50 bucks, but it's expensive because it comes with the temp sensor built in, and it's integrated, and so it's kind of really well done. But that's why it's a $50 thermostat instead of like a $5 thermostat. But that goes on. And the reason this all comes separately is because in order to get it in there, you got to kind of put it together as you go. Put the pulley on last. Here's the pulley, came off really easy. And it's really not that big a deal. So, you know, if I
take off the 5 bolts and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it just falls right off. So if I had taken this to like Rolls Royce, they probably would charge me, you know, $4,000 to do this. The last place I went to, this Eurosport or whatever it was called, they wanted like $1,800 and told me I had to replace all these hoses and everything, which is totally bogus. So he says within the next hour or two, this thing will be running. So what this dude does is he works on buses and works on all kinds of stuff. This bus here ran into the back of a fire truck on the side of the road, and down in South Texas. You know, I know this guy through my bus connections. You know, I have a Prevost tour bus, so if you're interested in buses and stuff like that, check out some of my other videos. I actually have another channel dedicated just to buses called Videobob's RV and Bus Channel, so check that out if that's your gig. This guy works on some amazing stuff. Check out some of this stuff. This is it's a Prevost tour bus, getting a full motor redo. This has a turbo, dude. It's bigger than my head. Imagine putting that on your Honda. I love this kind of stuff. This is like Disneyland for me. I love buses and engines and stuff like that. This is great. So we're having a little trouble getting to some of the hoses and stuff on the bottom. So check this out. They gotta move this bus, but the bus doesn't run. So they're gonna take this little pickup truck and they're gonna tow this bus. Seriously? Let's see this. Ooh. There, holy shit. That's a GMC truck. Wow. Pretty impressive. That little truck pulled that bus. Wow. I bet you thought it wasn't going to do it. I didn't think it was going to do it. but it did. That bus weighs 40,000 pounds. Yeah, and that little truck moved it. Wow. All right, well, we had to move the car over to the area with the pit so we can get up under the car to get to some of the hoses and bolts. So I'm gonna take you on a cool little mission under the car. I bet you've never seen under a Rolls Royce Phantom, so let's go underneath it. Here we go, we're gonna go up in the pits. And here's rear differential, which we're gonna be doing a repair video on this real soon because right up in there, see that black box? That's the electronic parking brake. We're gonna be taking that out and replacing it very soon. Not today, but soon. You can see how much sound isolation and heat protection there is. Check out the flex disc on the back of this drive shaft and all the different points of rubber contact to keep it quiet and smooth. This cross bracing here, nice and solid. All these mufflers, so keep it quiet. So much protection under here, it's amazing. Looks like I got a little break in this plastic. You can get a look up in there, up ahead. I can see my, if I zoom in, I can see the oil filter. We're gonna do a video on that soon. Here's some of the suspension. That bushing is looking very tired. We're gonna have to fix that. So this lower bushing has got to be done. That's gonna be affecting my alignment. And that one looks good. So definitely need to do some lower bushings. It's all wet under here from the oil and the coolant. So here it comes.
You only have two, that's it.
Yeah, we're missing some screws and some bolts. A couple of things. A little beat up under there. We're gonna fix all of that. That's gonna be all nice and new.
Hose right here.
Oh yeah, it's all wet under here.
Yeah. That's your oil.
Is that our oil leak?
Probably just clean it up and then we can exactly see what.
Well, that's the alternator right there, isn't it? Or what is that right there? That's the alternator.
Alternator.
So it's a liquid-cooled alternator.
Mm-hmm.
And then what is that right there? That's a power steering?
This is power steering.
So it's got a remote tank. There's your idler. And I think, so what
We'll
what
wash it off and then
I wonder
see exactly what it's coming from.
So here's a cooler. I don't know if this is a transmission cooler or.
See it from, yeah, I don't think the transmission cooler. This is not leaking. See, that's leaking from there.
There should, oh, this is what I was thinking right here. Yeah. There's an oil cooler right here. I was thinking it was that.
No.
Do you see where the oil is coming from?
Yeah, it's from there.
Well, I can't see what you're looking at. What is it?
It seems like it is. It's just an attachment. Probably your O-ring. Easy to, well, not easy to change, but better than the oil cooler. And then we have our hose right here. See? Oh yes. And
well, you're right in the flight path of DFW.
yes.
It's planes all day long. Some kind of cool little sensor right there. That's interesting. It's like a little, what is that thing?
Tensioner.
Where's the tensioner at? Right there. But so how do you?
Right here.
Oh, okay.
Star.
Well, that's for that one. So how do you put the other one on? How do you
Same thing.
Is it on the?
Right here.
Because we took the pulley off.
Yeah, right here.
Oh, okay. I was worried it was a stretch belt because those things are a pain in the ass.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So they had to have a tensioner.
Yeah.
See the spring tensioners right here?
Yeah, I see.
See, that's a spring tensioner right there. This is a fixed pulley.
Yeah.
So that you won't move.
Of course.
This one won't move at all. So we have a spring tensioner and we have a spring tensioner. So on for here we have a better access to it.
I'm trying to see where that leak is you're talking about.
If you see through here, let's see.
way up there.
Yeah, it's way up there.
I can't see it.
We can wash it off, and then exactly once we turn it on, we can see exactly where it's leaking from.
All right, cool.
And look at that.
Look at that. That is the main crankshaft pulley. Now, unfortunately, that has to come off to get to that bottom bolt we were trying to get to.
And
So,
look at that.
just for reference, anybody want to do a water pump on a Rolls Royce
That's it.
or
Easy here.
on a BMW 760 Li, in order to get to all the bolts, you're going to have to kind of slowly disassemble the water pump. You got to take the pulley off the pump, and you're going to have to drop the belly pan. You got to pull this main crankshaft pulley off, which wasn't hard. The bolts come out and it just comes right off. But you got to be able to lift the car up, and sometimes it's good to have a pit like this. And the reason it is a lot of these particular luxury cars that have pneumatic and hydraulic suspension systems, like the Bentley and the Rolls Royce, and a lot of them, they require a special mode you have to put the car in order to lift it, let the wheels dangle. So it's really good to have something like a pit, like we're, a place where they work on buses, because that way the car can sit on its own wheels without being raised and without stressing the suspension system. This car doesn't have a lift mode on it, but it's just not good for these type of suspension systems. But anyway, so to get to the water pump, this is what you got to do, and it'll be coming off here shortly.
Water pump. There you go. Huh? Shoot out! Shoot out! Oh shit, you know what? I forgot to take this.
Must be something still holding it in.
She's out.
Is there still a hose on it somewhere?
No, just this one, the one on the bottom that I told you. Already got all the bolts.
I can't see what's holding it.
Yes. And the water pump is really fucked. Oh, she's out.
Almost. This probably would have been easier if we took the radiator fan off, but it takes a lot of work. And that is the tensioner, which also has to come off in order to get this thing off. So, if you're taking notes on the water pump of a Rolls Royce or a BMW, that's all the crap you got to get off. So you're going to have to get off that pulley, you're going to have to get off the tensioner, and there it is, our failed pump, which, by the way, I can zoom in on that, had a plastic rotor. Really? Really, Rolls Royce? Really, BMW, I should say? Yeah, that's your failure right there.
That's the way the cookie comes.
Yeah, man. Come on, Germans. What's up with that? And actually, you know what? I'm going to take that back, because it wasn't the propeller that failed. It probably broke in the course of the bearing failing. The bearing failed, and that's probably what caused that to break. So I take that back. But, seriously, plastic, come on.
This is beautiful.
All right, here we are. It's about 4 hours later.
We just gotta put one
Putting
hose.
the last hose on there.
Shazam! Done.
Ta-da! All right, time for some fluid.
Put some fluid in
This
there.
stuff is blue. It's made out of Smurf sweat. That keeps the car cool. Well, apparently there was a hose not connected. You know, can you see what it is? Is it that little one we were worried about?
No.
All right, I had to make a field trip down to Park Place, Rolls Royce, Bentley, Jaguar. They do all this Park Place Premier Service Collection, they're called, here in Dallas. So we had a coolant pipe. This little coolant pipe here, that little plastic Y piece in the middle, it snapped and broke. So if you have one of these Rolls Royces and you notice those little plastic pieces have turned brown, it means they are brittle and they are going to break. So if you move that hose around, it's going to break, and it'll probably break anyway. Well, I went to the BMW dealership looking for parts because the 760 Li part, and they didn't have it. And did a bunch of research, finally found this, $180 for this hose assembly at Rolls Royce. Now, you can get the basic equivalent for the 760 for about 50 bucks, but it is shaped a little different, so you'd have to maneuver it a little differently. So I just went ahead and spent the money and bought the original OEM part. It's a Rolls Royce part. And the other one lasted 15 years. This one should last a while, so I think it'll be okay. And I'm gonna run this right over to the mechanic, and we're gonna get this installed right now. But hey, while we're here, check this out. Bentley, McLarens, Maseratis. They got a lot of cool stuff here. Park Place in Dallas. That's where you get the fancy stuff. Let's get back into the CTSV wagon. Head on down to the mechanic right now. Let's go. All right, fast forward a little bit. We were so excited to get the hose on. I forgot to record us doing it. But basically, the hose that had broken, aside from the water pump, it's a hose that runs from this reservoir tank and then basically into the block, and it splits off. And so what you're going to notice with the BMWs or the Rolls Royces, the little plastic couplers that connect the hoses. Oh yeah, here we go, thanks. So when they start to turn this brown color, that's when they get a little brittle, and they'll break. So a little snout broke off right there. And also, look at this. I just pull the hose right off. So the hoses were getting bad, the clamps, everything. So even though it was an expensive hose, I think it was a good idea to replace it. So now we're not leaking any longer, at least not fluid, but we're still leaking oil. So we're gonna see if we can't track down the source of that oil leak. If you saw my first video, the one that I did about the cheapest Rolls Royce in the world, that thing has like 500,000 views right now. And there was a little puddle of oil under there, and I've been having to put like a quart in this thing every other day. So we're gonna try to find the source of that oil leak, and then also replace another thing over here that is a problem. This is the brake actuator that goes up under the differential. It's an electronic brake system that is a high torque, and it's not working. There's a little plastic gear in here that breaks really easily. It's a real common problem. And I got this one used for like 140 bucks. So we're gonna get it fixed, and we're gonna get this thing all tip top. So once it's totally airtight, it's not leaking any fluids, and all the buttons are working, and there's no lights on the dash, I'll be a happy Rolls Royce owner. And this stuff, you know, it's not that crazy expensive, you know. Yeah, that hose was like 150 bucks or whatever, which I'm sure you probably get the cheaper BMW one for like 80. But listen, if 150 bucks is gonna kick your ass, you have no business owning a Rolls Royce. So this is just what it is to have one of these cars. And hey, it's running. So we're gonna work on a little bit more, and we'll follow up. Stay tuned. All right, I'm back home in the Rolls. Drove it home, performed wonderfully. Stayed nice and cool, stayed right in the middle mark, thermostat working perfectly. But we fixed the water pump. It's running cool, running quiet, and I just could not have done this without my good friend Christian Martinez. Now he's not really looking for any limelight because he's already got as much business as he can handle. He works on buses and stuff, and he just kind of did this for me as a favor. So I really appreciated it. So if you're loving these Rolls Royce videos and working on them, there's going to be a whole bunch more coming up, because if you Google out there and if you search on YouTube, there are no videos out there that I found of working on these cars. No videos of simple oil changes or any other kinds of maintenance. And I want to do an entire series on helping other potential and current Rolls Royce Phantom owners. You know, now that these cars are about 15 years old, 16 years old, they're starting to hit the market and they're getting cheaper. And there's going to be more and more guys like me out there getting these cars, and they're going to have age and mileage on them, and they're all going to need the same work. They're going to need hoses, they're going to need belts, they're going to need water pumps, alternators, oil seals, and all of the things that happen with age and miles. So next big project we're going to be doing is replacing the brake rotors and pads, fixing that oil leak, doing an oil change. We're probably going to be changing out the lower A-arm and bushings, doing alignment. I may be taking these big wheels off and putting the original wheels on, a few other things to try to get a little bit more stock. So glad you like that. And we're also starting on our 29th or 30th DeLorean time machine coming up here Monday. And then we're also working on a custom Night Rider with an LS1 and a custom van from Up in Smoke for Cheech and Chong, all kinds of stuff. So if you haven't subscribed, please do, because you're going to miss some great stuff otherwise. Hey everybody, I'm Videobob. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.